Hi everyone, I'm George Jackson, executive producer and host of GovExec TV. My guest for today's 5 questions here at AFCEA's TechNet Cyber in Baltimore, Maryland is Randy Barber. He is president of technology over at CRU Data Security Group. That goes by CDSG. Randy, welcome, sir.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
So we were talking before we went on the air. I wrote down a couple of acronyms that you taught me today. I want to share them with our audience. That is DAR, or DAR architectures, stands for Data at Rest, and NSA, that's the National Security Agency's CSFC, Commercial Solutions for Classified Program. What are those two and how are they tied to your company's mission, sir?
With CSFC, the NSA has laid out a zero trust architecture requirement of 2 independent layers of encryption. Our product Citadel offers the outer layer of that requirement by combining a self-encrypting drive with a pre-boot authentication package to secure the drive of a system for unauthorized access.
2 different layers of encryption. How does that also tie to data at rest architectures?
So the DAR, the data at rest, is that point of, or that we're protecting.
Okay.
Right? The data on the drive, when it's at rest, when it's on the drive, is being protected by those 2 layers of encryption.
Thank you for that explanation. Let's get into, you mentioned Citadel. There's another key program that you lead called SHIPS. What are those 2? What's the difference between them and how do they address the evolving cybersecurity landscape?
Both products are factory integrated by HP, and SHIPS is a removable product. We have been providing products for years, decades actually, that will allow a user to physically remove the drive, the data, and secure that potentially in a safe, air gap it so that it's not on the system where someone can attack it. This is still a common practice in many parts of our military and intelligence communities for these products. We've added to that in the zero trust architecture requirements, Citadel. And Citadel was the product we just talked about where we are locking the interface. No data can be read off this drive until you've authenticated to the drive. How that looks in practice is a computer with Citadel, once it's turned on, is going to boot to a credential screen where you as the user would enter your credentials. That could be a name, password, it could include a multi-factor like a CAC card requirements. If you are authorized to use that drive, we will then unlock the interface and allow it to boot into whatever operating system the system is running. At that point, the system looks like any standard system that you would be on. But we've protected that core data that only authorized users can boot to that. At that point, you have other parts of zero trust where you log into your OS, you may have to log into a domain, maybe a storage network, things like that can all then be added to secure the overall system.
You've already mentioned a few, and I probably could intuit others, but as far as customers, your customers, the federal government, these agencies and organizations that are trying to solve for zero trust, I've heard multi-factor authentication, certainly identity implications, the encryption of data. What are some of the other mission objectives, Randy, that you're trying to solve for on a daily basis? What are the problem sets that they're coming to you and saying, hey, we want to plug this in to solve for that?
A couple of the largest ones we hear about, of course, is ransomware. It's in the news a lot. We also have insider threat requirements that also unfortunately get into the press too much. How we've done that in Citadel is by offering some post-boot applications with our technology partner by the name of Cygent. And with these applications, a user can set up things like hidden partitions where data cannot be seen. If it can't be seen, it can't be attacked. You can set up areas where data, if it's requested, has to be authenticated. For example, someone goes to open a Word document. It literally will pop up a window saying, can this file be opened? And of course, if you're not opening it and someone else is on your system opening it, that would be an alert that you would say, no, you can't open that file. So without that ability, those types of attacks are stopped immediately. We also have in that product the ability to log data. So anytime a file is opened, we will have a log of that in the drive itself. It's kept very secure where it cannot be erased by people on the system. But if there ever was a breach, you had something that happened, you would then be able to go back and look at who was in the drive, what processes were opening, what files, and when that was. So you can build a profile of what was looked at, what was potentially taken. So those are some of the main areas that we hear a lot.
In my conversations all across the public sector landscape about zero trust specifically, people have said time and time again, zero trust isn't something that you can just go and purchase off of a shelf. It takes a bit of a village to deliver zero trust to organizations. I see a connection, Randy, to that mindset and events like AFCEA's TechNet Cyber, which brings together public sector and private sector, but it also brings together private sector ecosystems that are trying to deliver zero trust. You mentioned earlier HPZ, these workstations. How is that important, that concept of workstations and its partnership with your company to deliver zero trust? What's the flow back and forth there look like?
Well, HP has been very good to work with over the years as we've been delivering products. And now with the factory integration of products like Citadel as well as our ships products, it gives the industry the chance of, again, that basic protection level of the system that they can use to build the other requirements that they have. As we had talked a little bit earlier, that could look like password protections of various things. You could do all kinds of authentication at the system level, at the network level, at storage network levels. So they can build those requirements on top of either the Z desk workstations that we are integrated in, or the Z mobile Fury workstation that we're also integrated in at the factory.
Government agencies are trying to anticipate, in a lot of ways, the cybersecurity challenges, the attack vectors that maybe are a year or 2 years or 5 years down the road. Put your futurist hat on for our audience for a second there, Randy. What things are you going to be trying to solve for in the future? Things like interoperability, scalability, compliance across these legacy and next-gen platforms. What things are you trying to solve for in the future, sir?
Well, one of the things we've done over the years is we've maintained long product life cycles that will allow for these products that we're delivering to be used over many years, so you're not changing those products out all the time. But there also will be some new things that you'll start seeing in the industry having to do with quantum resistant algorithms for encryption. There will be a lot of changes coming in the next couple years down those paths. And then we continue to work with partners to ever increase the types of things that we're including in our integration on the products that we can then deliver.
President of Technology for CDSG, Randy Barber. Randy, thanks so much for your time, sir.
Thank you.
That was today's 5 questions for GovExec TV on site at AFCEA's TechNet Cyber event in Baltimore, Maryland. I'm George Jackson. We're gonna give you a little treat now. We've done the tell, let's do the show. We're gonna toss things over to Brad Stockholm over at CDSG. He's gonna show you some of the great work we talked about here in action. Brad, take it away, sir.
Hi, my name is Brad Stockholm with CDSG Digistore, here to show you a couple of the features of our Citadel C Advanced Series drive. Today we're going to cover a really quick demonstration of the pre-boot authentication login found in our PBA Citadel suite. First thing you're going to notice is a authentication login screen that prompts you to enter a passcode or put a smart card in, pretty standard for unlocking the drive. As it stands right now, this system has booted prior to a BIOS authentication, prior to OS. There is no data at risk at all. So the first thing I'm going to do is quickly put in the credentials, check to make sure that I put everything in correctly. And the first thing that's going to happen is going to unlock that drive. That drive is now unlocked. We're going through a reboot process. This reboot process will load it like a normal system does. Go into your operating system loop for reboots. The other thing to note here is that this drive specifically is FIPS, so you have your conformal coding for asset protection as well as hardening of the device itself. Now, as you see here, we have the system in a fully functional mode, regular password challenge, if you will. I'm gonna go ahead and enter that in. And then you can continue to use your system as normal. Again, like I said, this is a pretty simple process, but required for easy access to CSFC requirements through NIAP and NSA. Again, also in our portfolio for data at rest solutions, we have a HP Z6 with a CDSG QX448. What that does is have 4 bays that we have available here. They are all locking, hand lock, and then you have the extra security lock for these as well. These are front load removable drives that we have on display. These are what we call SHIPS modules. SHIPS modules are interchangeable between all of our product portfolio, and we can lock these for secure data storage. Again, I'd like to thank you guys for watching this demonstration. If you have any questions, concerns, please reach out to your sales staff at CDSG or HP. Thank you and have a great day.